Well, this is just kind of a little bit of a cut test. This one is going to be for that brand new TwoSun TS328. I have noticed a little bit of an issue that I think I should be able to fix, and that is that it has a pretty weak detent. Like, yeah, almost gravity life net levels kind of thing. And because of that, when you slam it back down, it doesn't really keep in there. From what I do here, you can try to increase the liner tension a little bit just to force it over a little bit more into the knife. So that's going to be my first shot. And yeah, after that, I'm not quite sure exactly, but yeah, I will be looking out for it. But yeah, anyway, because this thing was fairly easy to sharpen, it made me a little worried. So I figure I should get a little bit of whatnot in here. I got my little notebook over here that I do my cross hatches on for all of these. And yeah, this one, I don't have the 10 millimeter or whatnot, but I have like 1/4 inch or whatever, which is like 9.48 millimeter or whatever. Yeah, just, if you haven't seen that before. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do myself some cuts. There's 10. There's 20. I basically do this until... Get off of their Dremel tool. There we go. Until it has trouble actually trying to slice through a piece of paper with the portion of the edge that I've been using. There's 30. There was 8. 9 and 10. Alright, so there's 40. Yeah, I probably won't end up filming all of this because, well, it's a lot of 4K content to end up recording anyway. But, yeah, I do at least want to catalog some of that. And, if it's stupendously soft, then it will show itself pretty quickly, I suppose. There is 50. And 60. I do have to say, using a flat sharpening like you would get on stones, or in my case, the Work Sharp Precision Edge, does make slicing this rope a lot easier than the kind of Appleseed convex grind that you're going to get from belt sharpening. You can still do it, obviously, and I have, and gotten some pretty amazing results, but it does require a lot more force to actually get through it. This seems to be going rather nicely. Here's 70. And there's 80. 8. Nine and 10. Alright, so there's 90. I'll clear off my cutting board. Yeah. Alright, maybe that was my fault. Well, we're going to keep going then. There's 100. There's 110. Yeah, we're still doing good. And there's 120. Alrighty, so yeah, it is doesn't quite feel nearly as smooth as it did, as it was, you know, perfectly polished out and everything, but that happens to a lot of knives. I'm going to go ahead and call it here just because I don't want these videos to get stupid long, because I've done a couple of those in the past and they weren't super popular. So, yeah, I suppose I shall come back at some point here in the next few days when I actually have a full result to share with y'all. Hopefully it's good. But like I said, I do have my doubts, and that's why I'm kind of putting it to the test. But alrighty, well, yep, it was just a quick little cutting video here for the TS328. Appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. You can also like and subscribe. That would make me happy. Back for some more cutting. Yeah, I just had to feed the dogs and whatnot. Roommates are actually vacationing in Hawaii at the moment. Something about a friends renewing wedding vows or something like that, and they wanted to do it there. But yeah, so back, gave my wrist a little bit of time to kind of relax and whatnot, sharpen a knife and whatnot. So yeah. Let me say whatnot one more time, just because I feel like it, and here we go. We are at 120 cuts so far here. And there is 130. Here's 140. I'll check again at 150 here. Alrighty. Here's a set of 10. That'll be 160 here. $170. See if I'm just slicing like an idiot. Kind of happens when I get a little bit of a thin sort of thing going on the paper here. Uh-huh. Alright, yep. That is definitely my fears kind of come together here. So this is basically, we're getting a little snag here on this blade. That causes me to not really be able to slice effectively through a piece of paper at a certain point here. It seems like it will eventually kind of work itself out. But yeah, it's definitely having problems there. So, that being said, that's going to be one of those knives that, yeah, it has M390 in it. And I would probably prefer it to have 14C28N or D2 even on there, because those get a lot of functionality out of them. But yeah, this one, not so much. But what I am kind of curious about is take a little stroppy strap to it. Oh, that's probably not on screen. Well, now it is. Go ahead and hit that up on a strap real quick, like I was just doing there. And let's see if it can continue on for a long time or whatnot. I should mark that so I don't forget. There we go. There's 10, so there's 180. There's 190. And here's 200. And yeah, I'm starting to feel the edge just lose a little bit of that super keenness here. Sorry, it's apparently Sunday night. It's 210. And 220. $230. $240. And yeah, I'll go ahead and check just 10 more cuts here on video. Because my hand's starting to get a little tired again. It happens. Alright, so there's 250. Yep, there's a little bit of a, just a little tiny bit of a area there that's basically rolled over. Now what's interesting is I can't even see this under the lights and everything like that. Whereas I've been able to usually see that on other knives. But yeah, right there. That's just not doing great. So yeah, wonderful. This is kind of a problem I have with M390 in particular. S90V from TwoSun is also kind of a little bit of a hit and miss kind of thing, but I have kind of run into that with M390 from a ton of companies. This stuff has a lot of finesse that needs to be done during the heat treat, and it takes a lot longer to properly do a heat treat on here than a lot of companies will actually willingly do. And because of that, we end up with knives that, sure, it is certainly made out of this metallurgy, but it's has the problem of probably having a Rockwell in, you know, the mid-50s, probably like 55, 56 or something like that, which you kind of don't really want for M390. Now, it is easy enough to maintain that at that point. You know, you could just use the strap and do whatever you want, but it's going to act basically around the same kind of functional steel as like 440C or 12C27. You're just paying $60 to $100 extra for it. Yeah, I mean, TwoSuns not alone in that. I've even seen some people complain about some of the Italian knife makers that can't quite seem to get the heat treat going right on it, and a whole bunch of the Chinese brands out there. TwoSun included, but we also got Kaiser, Civivi Wee, Artisan Cutlery, probably Concept, but I haven't really handled any of their stuff yet. Yeah, it's just kind of a problem, and it does actually turn me off of the steel in general. That being said, if it's actually treated perfectly good, you're going to have a great time with it. It is a little bit more difficult to sharpen, sure. Maybe not something that you want to address in the field necessarily, but it should last you throughout whatever you're doing outdoors. But it is kind of the reason why, at least at this point, I'm kind of preferring Crucible's 20CV or Carpenter's CTS 204P. Now, they're basically the same steel. I mean, they have basically the same or very, very, very similar makeup and kind of how you put them all together and whatnot. But both of those are, for one, they're American companies, and that does actually make it a little bit more difficult for Chinese manufacturers to actually get a hold of it, because they have to pay more for it, because, import taxes and tariffs and all that sort of stuff, especially that kind of got amped up quite a bit here over the last presidential term and everything like that. So that's one thing there. But that does kind of relegate those steels to, we does use it a little bit in their knives here and there, but for the most part, they're actually made by, American companies. You got Kershaw uses it in some of their super high-end stuff, Microtech, Protech, Hogue a little bit, and just stuff from a lot of companies who, for one, they have the ability to have people communicate with them often, and whatnot. They actually want to keep the name out there and everything, so they don't hide behind language barriers and whatnot for that. So they generally do a pretty good job on it. But yeah. So yeah, little sad in general. I do like the design of this knife quite a bit, but yeah, it seems to perform just about like what 440C kind of probably would. Now this is at a 15-degree angle. It would probably hold up just a little bit more if I did it to a little bit different 17-degree angle or something like that. But this is still basically a really high-end knife, and it's made really well, but the steel in it is just not holding up. So yeah, kind of think twice a little bit about when you're trying to purchase M390 from pretty much any company, especially those outside of the US, or England, or I don't really think any of them particularly try to use that, but any of those kind of places where you can easily actually talk with the manufacturers and everything like that, where they're kind of involved in the industry, because otherwise you have absolutely no guarantee, regardless of the company and manufacturer, how it's actually going to perform. But they're still going to charge an arm and a leg for it, because the steel itself is expensive. They're just not spending the other half of it doing the heat treat correctly. So yeah, this has certainly been something that has been kind of addressed before in the past. I'm addressing it again here because this is absolutely brand new. And while I'm at it, what I got basically like a week or so earlier here is this is the Barracuda from also TwoSun. This is a Maswat Mokhtar design, and it's an S90V. And this was incredibly easy to sharpen as well, which doesn't really bode well for its actual performance. And this is a Barracuda Dash Up model that they just started manufacturing a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, somewhere right around there. So it's not like necessarily all of the newer ones are just going to perform magically well all on its own. That being said, and it is kind of unfortunate, but a lot of times I really do prefer the kind of more basic ingot steels, 14C28N, D2, I don't know, Nitro V, I guess, because that's kind of coming up and being a little bit more popular these days. 154CM, I guess even VG10, but it's just kind of a little notch below some of those. Just because the heat treat on them is much easier to actually deal with correctly. And yeah, I've proved that certainly in the past with some TwoSun cuttings where I've done a good, like 700 and 800 something or other cuts on D2 and 14C28N from them. They do a fantastic job. Unfortunately, they don't always do a fantastic job with the more expensive blade steels. Yeah. Well, something to keep in mind, and it is generally why a lot of times with these TwoSuns, I am a little bit more interested in the budget options, because they do a fantastic job with their their more affordable steels. But you do have a little bit of a gamble when you go for some of the more expensive blade steels. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of how it happens. I'm not saying that absolutely all of them are terrible. My TS, what was it, 220? Yeah, the Jelly Jerry guy that I kind of compared to the TS66. That one seems to be holding up fairly decently, and it's in M390. Maybe a little soft, but much more capable than what this guy is kind of proving to be. All right. Well, yeah. I would just be incredibly wary, probably, of that button lock knife that most people seem to be buying for $250 to $300. Because the fidget factor is going to be there. The build quality is going to be there. I highly doubt the steel actually will be. Kind of a sad thing to kind of leave off on, but yep, that's kind of what I'm experiencing with this. So, alright, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. And maybe subscribe.